One of the biggest challenges of becoming a content creator is starting from scratch. Today, we're going to look at how I'm building my audience starting from scratch in late 2023 and the 4 strategies that I'm using. Before I tell you about the game that we're playing that you need to understand if you really want to have any chance at growing an audience, I first want you to understand that the very first thing we have to do as content creators when we're building our audience is commit. Because here's the deal, starting a content business or becoming a content creator in whatever you decided to do, whether it's YouTube like me or creating a subscriber email list like me or maybe a podcast or whatever it may be, it's a very difficult challenge when you're out there writing or creating these videos, talking to the camera, or just putting yourself out there in a way for someone to judge you. You have to understand right up front that honestly, it's going to be hard. And some days it's going to suck. And that's just the nature of it. People are going to misunderstand your message. People are going to not agree with your message. So you have to be prepared to handle whatever challenge come your way. And one of the books that I found to do that is called The Motivation Myth. What I like about this book and the reason why I recommend it is because at the end of the day, the whole premise around the motivation myth is motivation isn't something that you wake up and you have. Motivation is something you gain and you build up over time after consistently doing the things that you said you would do, even when you don't want to do it. This book goes into great detail about that. And honestly, before you start playing the game of becoming a content creator, I highly recommend you make sure that you got your mindset right. And honestly, I listened to this book on Audible, but because I enjoyed it so much, I wanted a physical copy that I can flip through the pages and read from time to time when I just need that extra push. Before we talk about how I'm leveling up my content, I first want to talk to you about the game we're playing because here's the secret. At the end of the day, the person who can hold the viewer attention the longest win, meaning that the person who can keep you reading down the page, listening to the podcast, reading the email, watching the video, that person wins. So it seems to me that this is a skill set that we really should be focused in on if we truly want to build an audience. And the only way to be able to build that skill set of being able to hold someone's attention is understanding and learning how to tell engaging stories in a way that not only engage them but also gets your message across. Now, a quick example that comes to my mind is the CEO of Disney created a book. When I finished his book, I was upset that it ended because he had so many engaging stories. Each chapter, from how he was able to get Star Wars, Marvel, all of it was a story that he walked you through, and weaving in that story was the principles and things he learned along the way. This is the difference between a person who watch your piece of content and stick and a person who don't. Because I can tell you, it's been plenty of times I picked up a book, thought I was going to love it, and I couldn't even finish it because the stories wasn't engaging and all the person was doing was just spitting facts at me. Now, the book that I'm reading to help me get better at telling stories is Secrets, Expert Secrets. Now, this is a book by Russell Brunson. The cool thing about this book is also on Audible. As a matter of fact, all the books that I recommend in here are on Audible. So you can listen to it in your car, you can listen to it on your drive, you can listen to it when you're doing dishes, at the gym. Well, I wouldn't listen to it at the gym. I'd be focused on building that muscle. But you get my point. You have the flexibility to consume this content. Now, the cool thing about this is by far the best book I found. And trust me, I've bought a lot of books when it comes to being able to tell an engaging story. This is the only book that I found that actually holds my attention, that actually does the thing or demonstrates the thing that it is that you want to do, which is tell engaging stories. Throughout this whole book, he's telling engaging stories that just get the point across on how powerful stories is. And he also gives a ton of frameworks up in here that we can use inside of creating our content to attract more people to us. So definitely, this is a winner for me. So the big question is this: how do small content creators like us who's working 40 to 60 hours a week with their family get a competitive edge and become full-time content creators, starting with no social media following, email list with limited resources? This is the question, and this channel will give you the answers. My name is Will. Welcome to Will Talk Tech. Let's talk about it. Do you know the number one mistake that most content creators make? While I let you think about that, let's talk about the easiest way I've found to be able to level up my content. Now, here's the deal. There are many different ways of being able to level up your content, meaning you can get a fancier camera, you can get a better microphone, you can, get a better laptop. It's plenty of different ways to level up your content, but honestly, it's only one free way for the most part to level up your content, and that's understanding copywriting. Everything that we do online as a content creator, we're trying to get someone to watch a video, we're trying to get someone to read our article, we're trying to get someone to listen to our podcast, we're trying to get someone to read our social media posts. All of that start with the headline that we attach to that piece of content. What copywriting allows us to do is get better at writing copy or text or formulating words in a way that it hits an emotional core with the viewer and make them want to click, watch, or listen or read our piece of content. Now, one of the easiest ways to be able to do that is a book called Flip the Script. Now, this book right here, honestly, is another one of those books I hated to see it end because honestly, the whole premise behind this book is a big idea. Now, a big idea, honestly, if you pick up any marketing book today, everybody talks about the big idea. Now, you had Todd Brown who came out with a book actually called The Big Idea. That actually was a good read too, but it was a little bit boring because the stories wasn't there. But as far as like giving you some good, solid material that you can run away and use to create better content, definitely. But if I had to pick one book, it's going to be Flip the Script, mainly because you don't realize this is a copywriting book, first of all. Second of all, everything that this book is based around having some type of big idea and running with that one singular big idea to be able to pull people into your world. And when you understand how important a big ideal is, which is what this book talks about alongside copywriting and how to take that big ideal and make it into something someone wants, I mean, honestly, your content can't help but level up. It won't matter what type of microphone you got. It won't matter what type of camera you got. It won't matter what type of laptop you have. What we're talking about right now in this video is the fundamental things that we need to understand as a copywriter, apart from the technical side of things. These are leveling up skills that we can actually tangibly see in our copy, in our marketing, in our content. We can actually put these things to work and be able to see them. And that's the reason why if you're not picking up a copywriting book and leveling up how to be able to write in a way that make people want to engage with what you're doing or what you're talking about, or what you're reading, or what you're, creating as far as wanting people to watch a video or something like that, then you're missing the boat. And this is an easy book to start with. It's easily digestible. And honestly, this is the book that I recommend. Although I got Ogilvy on advertising, I got the Ultimate Sales Letter over there. I got a ton of other psychology books over there. Like I kind of wanted to talk about the confidence gap. I have, Tiny Habits over there. I have a ton of psychology books over there. But this is the book that if you truly want to start leveling up your content and writing better social media posts, writing better headlines, and just getting more people to engage with you, this is the book that I recommend you start with because it's based around understanding how to create better ideas and how to come up with better ideas for whatever it is you're doing. If you're enjoying this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up so I can create more videos just like this one. Did you figure out the number one mistake that most content creators make when they're first getting started? And honestly, some content creators bigger is still making the same mistake. If not, it's simple. It's this. Understanding that wherever you create a piece of content at, whether it's on YouTube like me, whether it's on a social media platform like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, wherever, at the end of the day, we don't own those platforms. The worst thing we could do is spend all this time building an audience on someone else's platform and not take the time out to be able to build our own audience on a medium that we control. And that medium for us looks like building our email list. Today, you can't go to any big tech YouTuber, or you really can't go to anywhere online where a YouTuber or a content creator or a blogger or, a podcaster is doing it right and they're not not trying to give you some piece of content to get you to input your name and email address in to capture you so they can communicate with you off-site, off whatever platform they brought you in on. Now, this is important because at the end of the day, if your platform that you're spending all that time on building up goes away and you don't have an email list, that means the last however many years you've been building that, I mean, it's a wash. However, if you take the time out and you build your audience, build your email list alongside whatever medium you're building, guess what? Whether that platform goes away or not, you always have an audience that you 100% control. And a cool way to get started with that is read Magnetic Marketing. Now, honestly, this, if I'm being completely honest, this is not like how we've been talking about how good stories are and things like that. This is not that book. Like, this book does not really tell good stories. It's by a guy named Dan Kennedy. He's a legend in the copywriting space. And when it comes to marketing, you can see this is a very small, digestible book. So that's the reason why I recommend you start here. There are some books out there that's better, but the reason why I want you to start with this book, or the reason why I read this book, is because in here he talks about a concept which is how to magnetically pull your audience to you versus chasing. And I like that idea so much that I had picked up the book. Now, the difference between chasing someone and saying, I hope I can build my audience. Can I build an audience? The difference in pulling someone to you is creating leverage, meaning creating a thing, whether it's a content calendar or in my case, a focused week. Showing how I create my focused calendars is something that I'm creating to give away as a piece of content that pulls people to me. And people who would take that focused week, well, one thing we know is their productivity. They into productivity. They might be productivity nerds. They might not be. They understand time blocking. If they don't, they want to get better with their scheduling. And it's the type of individual that I would want to talk to because they're right in line with me. And the cool thing about it is at the very top of the website, it talks about how to, if you want to become a full-time content creator, this is the first thing you have to understand, which is about being more productive and understanding your time. That's what this is about. That's what this book teaches you. It teaches you how to craft offers in a way that makes sure you're grabbing the right audience. Because here's the deal. For example, this video is on YouTube. Up until now, all of my videos on YouTube has been about Siri shortcuts or some type of piece of tech, whether it's been my iPad or something like that. And that's awesome. I love creating tech videos, which is why I named it Will Talk Tech. But at the same point in time, the other side of that coin is if you want to be a full-time content creator, there are things that you have to understand, like fundamental skills that you have to understand outside of just how to work the technical stuff or how to leverage tech to be able to get some time back that allows you to give you a competitive edge or at least match what full-time content creators are able to produce. And this is the underlying thing that you have to understand when it comes to marketing, copywriting, understanding how to grab people's attention, and understanding why it's so important to commit up front before you ever get started with something like this. The very next thing you want to do is learn how to start optimizing your systems for creating content. Now, I have this video right here. This starts diving into Siri shortcuts. It shows you some really cool things you can do with Siri shortcuts off the cuff, keeping it really basic, really simple, and touching on a little bit of automation. But understand this, I use Siri shortcuts to streamline my content creation process all the time in all my videos. And it all starts with understanding some few basic fundamentals of Siri shortcuts. Till next time, later.